Welcome. I'm truly glad to have you here today. Let's talk about a topic that's often underestimated, but has a huge impact on your folding quality: water scoring. It's more than just a line of moisture. It's a smart, targeted solution. And as we'll see, water scoring is the medicine for common folding defects. Let's dive in and see what it can do for your production. Let's get straight to the point. We're not here to talk theory. We're here to talk real problems. Problems you've seen in your own production line: fishtailing, fold line cracks, boxes that won't stay shut, creases that split, and worst of all, dimensional defects that mess with your customer's case erector. These aren't small issues. They jam machines, waste material, and frustrate customers, and it all starts at the fold. That's where water scoring comes in. We use a purified water blend with an additive that lowers surface tension, applied directly on the board or to the score line as dots or a fine line. Dot mode works up to 150 meters per minute. Beyond that, we switch to a continuous line, still precise, still controlled. And the result? Cleaner folds, fewer cracks, stable, repeatable output. Water scoring is running right now on flexo folder gluers, multi-point gluers, and other corrugated machinery like laminar lines, and the impact is measurable: less waste, fewer cracks, consistent box dimensions. Best part, it's retrofit ready, installed fast, delivers immediately. But we're not stopping there. Wraparound packaging? Huge potential. Water scoring lowers restoring forces, so glue seams need less adhesive. Reopening is avoided. Pack on demand? Sharper creases can eliminate slotting. That means stronger boxes, built faster, with less complexity. And when water scoring and adhesive systems are controlled through a single Baumer HHS interface, that's true integration. That's value. Gap deviations, small offsets, big trouble. Fishtailing is one form. Gaps taper, folds twist. The result? Misfeeds, jams, downtime. Seams stay open. Boxes lose strength. Contamination becomes a risk. Loads shift. What starts as a small fold error turns into rework, complaints, even recalls. We can't fix what we don't understand, so let's take a closer look. Let's talk about what really causes fishtailing and gap deviations. It comes down to two things: the machine and the material. First, the machine. Misaligned folding bars or scoring wheels. You'll get systematic dimensional errors. But the good news, they're consistent. You can detect them, fix them, move on. Scoring pressure, though, is another story. If it doesn't match the board, folds won't behave. Some even switch tools for different grades, which works but costs time. And downtime means lost production. Now to the tougher part, the material. Moist board creases cleanly. You've seen it fresh from the corrugator. But as it sits, it dries unevenly. That's when the trouble starts. Cracks, fishtailing, misfolds. And moisture's just one piece. Structure, paper type, storage, they all play a role. Bottom line, when the material properties change, you need more than a machine adjustment. You need a water scoring solution that controls the fold where it matters. Let's be honest, not every box ends up with critical dimensional issues. It really comes down to the material you're using and the box design itself. Now, the two examples you see here, they've shown up repeatedly in customer tests as especially sensitive to misalignment. These are the formats where things can get tricky. But here's where it gets interesting. When misalignment does happen due to material behavior, it's rarely consistent. We've seen it over and over again, in our own gap measurements and in the field. You might get a few blanks that all deviate the same way, and then suddenly one jumps the other way. No warning, no pattern, and that's the real problem. Because when those shifts become random, the process gets unstable. And quality, it's no longer something you manage. It's something you hope for. That's not how a modern production line should work. Not all scores behave the same. Across the flute, no big issue. But parallel, that's where it gets tricky. Researchers tested 180 single and double wall boards under standard conditions. Every score angle relative to the flute worked fine. Except the parallel one. Why? Because it depends where the wheel hits. Land on the flute peak, clean, deep crease. But land in the valley, and misfolds, and liner tearing begins. Worst zone, 20% into the gap between flutes, where side forces peak. That's where misfolding and gap shifts begin. Let's take a closer look at the machines, because they're not all the same. It's not just about integration effort, it's about how they're used and what they handle. Take multi-point gluers. They process complex designs, mostly on single wall board, E, B, or C flute. That means narrow flutes, tight scores, and tighter margins for water scoring. Every machine type and its applications have distinct requirements that must be met for optimal performance. Understanding those is key to apply moisture where it works and build solutions that truly fit. On multi-point gluers, the real challenge is the box itself. Irregular flaps, asymmetrical shapes, thin, sensitive board. Water scoring helps, if it's precise. But if you miss the crease by a few millimeters, the fold fails. Too much water, especially on recycled liners, and the paper starts breaking down. Fibers tear, layers separate. The crease collapses. One customer ran tests without surfactants. The water didn't absorb fast enough. It sat on the surface and ruined the fold. So here's the bottom line. On these lines, water must hit the right spot, with the right dose, and the right chemistry. Otherwise, you turn a solution into a problem. Hear that? That's water scoring in dot mode, running at 100 meters per minute. Clean folds, no cracks, just the right moisture, never too much. And here's what makes the exact easy fold system stand out. It places individual dots up to 150 meters per minute, dot by dot, every dose identical. No matter the speed, the system delivers perfect consistency. That's key when working with thin corrugated board, where every drop counts. And once you go beyond the preset speed, the system switches to line mode automatically, still smooth, still safe, still controlled, no overwetting, just precision at every speed. The SW600 valve does what others can't, dot mode application, even at high speeds. And in folding carton production, that matters. Because too much or too little moisture, it ruins the fold. With SW600, every dot is identical, precise, repeatable, no leaks, no drift. And here's the real difference: durability. Most solenoid valves fail from coil heat, but the SW600, we ran it at 850 Hz, non-stop, and the coil stayed cool. Yes, the stroke adjustment takes some getting used to, but once set, it's rock solid. Pair it with the exact Easy Fold system, and you've got a dotting setup made for performance. Let's talk about inliners, also called flexo folder gluers. They build slotted boxes. The standard of the industry: flat, fast, foldable. But here's the challenge. The material varies. B flute, C flute, double wall, even triple wall. And each type folds differently. Inliners also use wider crease lines, so we need more moisture per fold, not random, controlled and consistent. And then there's the machine itself. More enclosed, more complex, harder to access. Integration. not plug and play. That's why we don't just install, we customize. With modular mounting kits tailored on site, because with inliners, precision and adaptability go hand in hand. In inliner applications, there are two ways to apply water scoring: before creasing and slotting, or after, directly on the score line. Each has pros and cons, but one thing's clear: space is limited. So integration must be exact. Here's the upside: many inliners have adjustable folding rails, and we use them as mounting points. That's a big plus. Once the valves and sensors are aligned, they stay aligned. No need to reset across the full machine width. It saves time, reduces errors, and keeps scoring consistent. Let's start by looking at the application of the moisture solution after the creasing or scoring step. Here's a real-world example from wine packaging, a box type many consider forgiving. We applied water scoring on a Bobst 924 after the creasing unit directly on the score line. Without it, the adhesive gap skewed by up to 4 millimeters, visible and unacceptable. With water scoring, that skew disappeared. In most cases, it wasn't even measurable. Worst case, just 1 millimeter. And this wasn't lab work. It ran with a high production speed with 2 to 3 bar water pressure. Bottom line, even with easy packaging, water scoring delivers better alignment, more stability, fewer quality issues. Here's what direct water scoring on the crease line delivers. In a B-flute field test, the creasing wheels were completely disengaged, and yet the fold held perfectly. Only minimal wheel contact was needed for guidance. That's the power of precision. Apply the right water amount in the right spot, and the fold follows the water line. Apply too much, and the board softens. But done right? Box compression tests showed no drop in strength, even directly after application. No soft spots, no failure. Double E flute held up. But heavier boards like BC flute, they resist more water penetration. That's where the limits start. So, direct application on the score line works best on light to mid-weight board, if it's controlled, consistent and clean. Mounted on the folding rail, the water scoring nozzles automatically move with the machine's format setting, always aligned with the score line. The operator just enters the desired water line length in the exact easy fold interface. A margin of 5 to 10 millimeters from the panel edge works best. One important point: make sure water hits the board, not the machine. That's what keeps folds precise and your equipment protected. Let's start by looking at the application of the moisture solution before the creasing or scoring step. Let's look at what happens when we apply moisture before the creasing and slotting unit. Unlike post-creasing, which controls the fold line directly, this step does something else. It preconditions the board. The moisture softens the fibers, so the scoring tools can form a cleaner, sharper crease. More precise, more consistent, less affected by liner stretch or back pressure. Just look at the image. Left, dry. Right, pre-moistened. Sharper crease. Better fold. Perfect alignment. That's the effect of controlled softening before the tools even touch the board. Sometimes a picture says it all. On the left, no water scoring. Heavy double wall BC flute. And the gaps tell the story. Tight, uneven, unstable. Now look right. With water scoring, wider gaps, closer to spec, and even with thick board, much less variation. It suggests that pre-wetting might be the better choice for heavier flutes. But to be fair, we need more data to confirm that. Still, this image shows what's possible. Simon and his team had their hands full during the install on the Martin 1232, but they nailed it. Big thanks and congratulations to everyone involved. What really made the difference? A customer who was all in, committed, supportive, and fully engaged. That kind of partnership doesn't just get the job done, it makes it a success. Earlier, we saw great folding results from a German test and with water scoring before the scoring unit. But there was a downside: paper buildup, some rust on the scoring wheels. Now compare that to our field test in Sweden. Same setup, same timing, but after 2 months in production, no rust, minimal dust, clean performance. So what's different? Possibly the amount of water. But one factor stands out. The Swedish customer adds 10% alcohol to the mix. That might be helping to keep the tools clean. We're now reviewing this carefully, technically, procedurally, and from a safety standpoint. Important note: alcohol use is not yet approved in the system. We need to resolve all safety questions first. Let's talk about why the SW600 makes sense, even on an inliner. First, its size. It's compact, so we can mount it close to the board, even in tight spaces. That's a real plus in a crowded machine. Second, it was built for water. And that matters, because water plus metal usually means rust. Look at the images on the top right. Other valves splash. Within days, visible corrosion on the machine. The SW600, much cleaner, less build-up. Still under observation, but the difference is clear. Also, installation is easier. And while the valve can do high-speed dotting, in inliners it runs continuous mode, and it runs it well. Bottom line, small footprint, clean performance, inliner ready. Here's another example of just how versatile water scoring really is. We've got 3 laminar machines running our system, processing heavy corrugated board for display packaging. Slower speeds. No additives, just pure water. And it works. It's a strong reminder. Water scoring isn't just for inliners or gluers. There's untapped potential. In end-of-line custom packs and across many corrugated applications where targeted moisture adds real value. Let me walk you through the current project timeline. The core package for folding carton gluers will be ready for order by June the 20th, 2025. Additional options will follow step by step. The base package for inliner, with moisture applied after the scoring unit, is scheduled for release by June 30th, 2025. But as you've seen today, every machine is different. We'll provide structured kits, yes, but on-site fine-tuning will still be needed. Even machines of the same model can differ, by year, layout, or options. Installation before the scoring unit, still under evaluation. We'll announce timing once all parameters are set. What's important? We're ready now to support custom setups through direct consultation. And I hope one thing became clear today. This is not just about mounting a valve. It's about understanding the material, the machine, and the process. Before I close, let me say something important. Thank you to the colleagues who supported me in building this presentation during the field tests and in all the tough discussions around the Robotech topic. You were there with ideas, with questions, with honesty, and that's exactly what we need here at headquarters. Because only when we know what the market really thinks can we deliver what it truly needs. So once more, thank you Jan, Simon, Gregor, Michael, Daniel, Carolyn, and to all of you here, let's keep the discussion going. Whether it's about moisture, machines, materials, or the challenges on your line right now. Because what we've seen today is clear. Water scoring isn't just a feature, it's a tool, a process. And in the right hands, Immersion made a real advantage. So reach out, challenge us, let's make it work. For your setup, your specs, your success. Thank you.